I'm in the Elliott and 2B booth, and I'm with Aaron Templin from Elliott and 2B. Aaron, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
It was great to have you on. You guys are really making waves right now. There's a lot of people talking about Elliott rods, 2B rods. Just tell us a little bit about the company and how it got started.
Yeah, so we started in 2018. Obviously, the founders of it have been around and in the industry a really, really long time. It's actually Paul and Gregg Thorne. They're actually both Minnesota Hall of Fame, Fishing Hall of Fame inductees. They started in original Thorne Brothers back in the day, did custom rods, actually brought the first carbon ice rods to the ice fishing world. So there's some really cool, rich history in there. Gregg's a legendary rod builder. So there's a lot of rich history that goes along with this company, and they came back together, started Two Brothers Innovations, and that's where we get Elliott rods and 2B fishing.
So Elliott is kind of it's really one of those brands that goes out there and people are really intrigued by it. It feels like a super high-end rod in their hand.
Right.
Also the differences between the Elliott brand and the 2B brand.
Yeah, so there's some subtle differences there. The main thing you're going to notice, and this is what's really intrigued everything, is this is Syncork. So this was Gregg's product that he brought to market. Doesn't absorb any hand oils, lotions, not going to swell out or chip or get beat up like a traditional cork will. And that's really the key feature you're watching on the Elliott stuff. The thing you're going to notice about an Elliott, you pick one up and our slogan is feel the difference. Super lightweight, and you are going to actually feel the difference. So that's the fun part, is you come to a show like this or head to a retail location, see our Elliott rack, and you're going to pick one up and you're going to know you're holding an Elliott right away. And that's kind of that aha fun moment that I think everybody loves. And then the same thing carries through with our 2B stuff, but you're talking more of a traditional cork. But it is an Army cork, so there's a lot of rubber infused, and we try to build things tougher and different, right? And you'll watch a trend all the way through both our brands.
What are the differences?
They're all technique or an action specific. So there's a lot of thought process that's got in. It's not just generic medium lights. You're going to watch through the lineup what each and every individual rod was built for.
Awesome. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are fishing with maybe something that they bought at a discount rack, a $25 rod, and certainly you can catch fish in those. Certainly there's a ton of people doing just that. Mm-hmm. What's someone going to notice going from a rod like that to going to something like an Elliott rod?
I think the biggest thing guys notice, especially stepping up that game into a high-end fishing rod, is the amount of, it's not the amount of, but the way you present the lure. It really kind of comes into play. You're watching all the technology get up there, we're running, we're gunning, you're watching forward-facing sonar change the game. Now all of our techniques, it's the same as your summer rods. Everybody's got technique-specific rods in your summer. The same thing is now transferred to your ice fishing. So whether it's a spoon rod, whether it's a light tungsten rod, whether you want to have a big rattle bait rod, there's all these specific presentations that are in today's ice fishing world, and that's transferring now into the rod market. And you're watching, that's what creates that high-end rod. It's that thought process of what you're trying to do, and you have the tool to be able to do it.
Very good. So there's people walking by right now. It's 2B.
Right.
They're picking up on it, and it's a brand that's definitely, people are noticing it's making waves. You talk about that technique-specific type of rod.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take us through the Elliott line and just kind of go through what the technique and which each rod kind of represents and what it does? And remember, we do have a mostly audio audience, so we'll just have to talk through it.
Yeah, so you're going to watch things all the way from, obviously I'm going to show the camera here, but
What is the ultimate? That's a medium.
do I have like even our spring bobber rod. So this is kind of the ground floor starter in the Pan Fisherman's box. You have the original spring bobber style stuff. But the cool part is we've put a lot of thought process into how we wanted to do our spring bobber rod. It comes into a really nice parabolic backbone, but there is some good backbone meat in there. So everything you're looking for in that spring bobber rod, it's not just a light spring and a really light rod with it. There is some meat and some hook setting backbone in there, and that's what starts the lineup with that inhaler. Now we're talking technique specific. So you're gonna watch a lot of noodle rods. So we seem to have a trend of a lot of noodle rods, different lengths with different actions. And the cool part there is, like, I'll grab the Odyssey for instance. This is our new super noodle. And you think, okay, noodle, what makes it a super noodle? When you pick this rod up, it is the softest, butteriest tip. And now we're talking technique specific. I want to use the smallest little tungsten possible, but I don't want to have a spring bobber rod. I want to have just a rod that kind of gives me a little more versatility to fish those tiny, tiny tungstens. And we've thought about it into there. Then you slide into a little bit bigger length, and you're talking heavier tungsten, etc. Where you're walking your way through all of our noodle models, you're going to watch those trends the whole way. It's different weights, different tungsten, different applications, and the way the panfish game has gotten, and same with the walleye side, you're going to watch it on our whole lineup. You're able to take those steps, have your rods rigged, and bring a whole big pile of an assortment, and you're not retying anything out on the ice, and that's why we're talking technique specific. So the big wow moment for everything that is Elliott is our Evolution. Okay. We released Evolution 2 years ago. It absolutely took the ice world and turned it on end. And you're talking 42 and 44 inch ice rods. The cool part about 42 and 44 inch ice rods is not only as a tall guy, I get to run and gun and not kneel down next to the hole. Yep. The fish fighting capability with that longer rod, and this is why we're talking about the features and benefits of what's thought out and what Elliott brings to the table. The fish fighting power, and I'm going to show the camera this, and I know your audio listeners won't see, but you think of it as a high-end fly fishing rod. In current, fighting a trout, what is going to perform better? That extra fast, really stiff short rod, or a nice long, sweeping, be able to handle? And the same thing is now played into that Evolution ice stuff. You have more surface to play with. You hook up that fish that you want to hook up, big one's going to sit and tug and fight you. You have that range to be able to fight that fish. It's going to absorb the head shakes. You just have so much better fish fighting power with a longer rod. And that's what you're watching, that 42 is 44, and you've got everything from an ultralight all the way up to a medium extra fast in the Evolution series, and it has really, really changed the way that we look at ice fishing.
Yeah, and you're making those knee pads obsolete. And the other thing with having those long rods, a lot of people don't think about is you get out there, you're fishing those crappies, and it seems like you got to raise them, you got to raise them, you got to raise them. You got a short rod, you run out of real estate real quick. With that long rod, if you got those fish that really, really need a lot of...
Yeah, you can keep your cadence for such a larger sweep. You're not on the reel, and then you don't know how far your bait's moving. You can keep that cadence the whole way up and usually get them to bite.
Very good. Now, we're in a full booth right now. I know there's a ton of people here, but just kind of give us an idea, maybe a couple of rods on the 2B side that people should take a look at.
2B, I'm not going to run and grab them because it's busy, but my favorite 2B rod, I'm a walleye head. I love the Spoon Daddy. Okay. Spoon Daddy in that Select series is a hammer. That thing's awesome. The action was really thought out well. It's an extra fast action rod, and I like that when I'm fishing really, really light spoons. And we're talking large profile, but really light. There's not a lot of weight there. We're not talking lead baits. Savant, really, really sneaky cool rod. That is your perch and larger panfish, even to your smaller walleye. It kind of fits everything in that realm, and the Savant's a really sneaky good one. And we do have our noodles in there. You've got a little nude, a big nude, and the ultimate nude. So really creates something cool.
Very cool. Aaron, if people want to find out more about Elliott and 2B, how do they do that?
TwoBrothersInnovations.com. Check us out. Everything's on there.
Very good. Aaron Templin from 2B, Elliott. Really appreciate your time, especially at the show here. I know a lot of things going on, but hope everybody enjoyed it. For Aaron Templin, I'm Chris Larson. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.